Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
Gen Wars. Welcome to Gen Wars, the generational podcast pitting the Gen Xers against those guys, the millennials. I'm your host, Nick, and with us as always is Cam, Katherine, and Steven. How is everybody doing today?
Excellent.
We've all had a lot of shark, so we're doing good.
Yeah, good. That's a good start.
Got all my limbs. It's a great day.
Got them all. Got all the phalanges. We're good.
Today we reviewed the 1975 film Jaws. Conveniently, or maybe one of you had suggested it because of this, it's the 50th anniversary, which I didn't realize until we were getting ready to start doing this. And I was like, it is the 50th anniversary.
I think it just worked out that way. So
I think it did as well.
Yeah.
Happy accidents.
Yep. Like the planets aligning.
I get no credit.
The summertime and our ability to watch movies just collided. And here we are.
Might as well kick off the summer with like the first summer blockbuster ever.
Guess whose camera just shit out?
I want to point out the irony of this, of how there's so many technical problems in Jaws that we're having a lot of technical problems with our video.
It has been technical problem central across the board here.
Well, if a large mechanical shark would like to bite those problems in half for us, we're here.
If this is how Jaws got so popular and famous, then this will be our best video.
Right. Since we're talking about how large the mechanical shark was, I didn't know how much it weighed. I saw a clip about it's like,
is that like
2
tons or something?
Yeah, like 2 or 3 tons. It's submerging something like that. Heck no, techno.
Well,
no.
also the foam would just like expand in it, like because it soaked up all the water. It got so heavy that it was just.
I feel like that would ruin somebody.
Well, they weren't inside it, but yeah.
Well, no, because you gotta have people swimming around and stuff, like maintaining the thing and operating it. Being in the water, working with that thing, no. Not at all.
She's quite a vessel.
Right.
The shark had its own makeup artist to keep it touched up throughout the movie. So before we go any further, if you have been living under a rock for the past 50 years, this movie
or submerged in water, if this movie is directed by Steven Spielberg, score by John Williams, starring Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, Lorraine Gray. This movie is based off a Peter Benchley novel, which I have never read. I'm assuming none of you have ever read it. Okay.
No, I haven't, but I want to.
It's what I read is that it's not. How did they phrase it? Someone put it that it was a movie about a small town and there happened to be a shark problem, opposed to this town has a shark problem. So like it was a lot of like the town and it's what's going on in there, and then in addition to there happens to be a shark. But that's just what I read, so take that with a grain of salt. Katherine, do you have budgetary things for this movie?
I do. I do want to point out that this movie is PG, so it was, I guess, kind of the beginning of where we eventually got to PG-13. Like, I think it was like Jaws, Gremlins, like Poltergeist. Those films were the ones that like kind of. Maybe we should have a different tier of ratings. Yes, Steven?
Do they go back and re-rate those? Like, is it now PG-13? No, so that's like a permanent thing. Like, they won't change it on like.
It was 9 years later.
Wow.
84 is when they switched to PG-13.
That's interesting. You would think that they would have like retroactive some of them, but I guess that goes against maybe like their code of conduct or whatever.
No, then they'd have to go and every piece of material that they're re-releasing, have to make new artwork and new all of that. So like all the DVD covers, posters, whatever, like that would all have to have
physical media. You silly Billy, that's dead.
We're trying to keep it alive.
I know. But I would assume on streaming they might update it, but like the streaming regulators or whatever. But no, I guess not. Guess you lucked out, Jaws. You're keeping that PG rating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it has to, as far as I know, it has to go through a whole board, like a whole bunch of people look at it and ultimately give it a rating. Yeah. So I don't think ultimately, at the end of the day, it's worth it. And it's been out for so long that hopefully, I'm assuming they're figuring
50 years.
Parents or whatnot will be like, oh yeah, we probably shouldn't let the kids watch this.
Yeah. Like Gremlins. Oh my God, Gremlins I was like, whoopsies.
Traumatized me. I mean, I didn't buy any animals from Chinatown after the Gremlins. So.
After.
Were you snatching up animals in Chinatown before that? Is that
I'm not allowed
like
to
a
talk
regular
about that.
pastime activity?
Never.
I've been sworn to secrecy. Otherwise, the gargoyle will come to life and kill me.
Well, we got to keep you safe then.
Thanks. But this movie did scare the hell out of me as a kid. Well, I mean, just Jaws in general. Maybe not this one.
All right, let's go. Let's do some. Let's see what the budget was first, and how much that's going to scare us.
Budget.
Yes. Okay.
Hit me with the numbers.
With them numbers. I got a bunch of different numbers for this film because this film blew its budget, and it blew like its like shooting schedule, like everything about this movie. Like the production people called this film Flaws instead of Jaws because like there's so many things that went wrong on set.
Rude.
Those guys are creative.
I know, right? So I think it was originally $3.5 million with a shooting schedule of 55 days. And then I saw 7 million, and then I've seen 9 million. So I think it was between $3.5 to $9 million since there were so many issues on set with the mechanics of the shark and everything. And an average budget from 1975 was 2.3 million. So yeah, put that into perspective of like how much they blew the budget.
Yeah, far and above. Now, see, I got another one that says 12. So like. It sounds like they.
Yeah, I couldn't find consistent.
They were
numbers.
hiding the budget for sure. They're like, we're gonna
like
get
the size of the
Yeah.
shark. We don't know how big it is.
Does anybody need some clean money? Let's use that.
It's a 20 miller.
And this was shot like, this was one of the first films I think that was like actually shot like on an actual like location versus a set. So it was at Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts where it was shot.
In Edgartown.
And and this was like this was the beginning of like summer blockbusters as well. So like Jaws was like based off of like its marketing and everything, and like how it was so popular is what like set the precedent for summer blockbusters.
A quick maths on possible inflation number. So 9 million, we're going to use that number. In today's money, would be about 53 million.
Okay.
Dang.
Domestic opening was around $7 million. Domestically was $267 million.
Nice.
Internationally, yeah, I know, right? Internationally was $210 million. And then worldwide was like $477 million. So you could say this movie was a success.
Yeah, I think
so.
You could say.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
And it also got a re-release back in what was the date? I didn't write it down. It was, so they did a quick re-release during the pandemic, and then they re-released it again, I think 2 years later in 2022.
I think it's because of the 4K upgrade, because that might have been it. Steelbook 4K copy came out during the pandemic.
Physical media.
Yeah.
Nice.
That looks very nice.
Very nice, very nice.
Very nice
the
title.
Inside has. Thank you. And the inside has, a lovely photo of terrified children.
Screaming children.
God.
So.
All right. Yeah. I'm going to have to pick one of them up.
One of the terrified children?
No.
Whoa. Cut.
Major awards. This film obviously is famous and famous for a reason. Well-known classic. No, it does not have Saturn. But to name a few, it was nominated for a few Academy Awards, 4, and it won 3 of those 4 nominees for Best Sound, Best Editing, and obviously Best Music. Like, who doesn't know the Jaws soundtrack? I mean, Steven, I bet you knew it before you even seen this film.
John Williams.
John
greatest. The greatest soundtracks.
It was nominated for 4 Golden Globes, and it won for Best Original Score. And it was nominated and won a Grammy for Best Original Score.
Nice.
It was awesome. Like, it made the tension happen. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like, the beach scene, the first kill, like, everything was just fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's start off with one of our new segments, Question Times with Steven. Do you have any questions?
Or should we do summary?
Everyone just bop your head to the music that might be here.
After the summary.
Disclaimer.
After the summary.
We'll be talking about sensitive subjects such as face blindness, know nothingness, and period pieces.
This is a period
Viewer
piece.
discretion is advised.
I've already decided is in fact a period piece.
We need to add that into our jingle for Steven.
Hit me.
When a young woman is killed by a shark while skinny dipping near the New England tourist town of Amity Island, Police Chief Martin Brody, that's a character, Steven, wants to close the beaches, but Mayor Larry Vaughn overrules him, fearing the loss of the tourist revenue will cripple the town. Marine biologist Matt Hooper, that's another character, Steven.
I knew my characters this time.
And grizzled ship captain Quint, that's the 3rd character.
I got him all.
Offers to help
He's
Brody.
such a salty dog.
He is the biggest salty dog.
He is, he's great. Offers to help Brody capture the killer beast, and the trio engaged in an epic battle of man versus nature.
Or what men do when they're alone. But, I mean...
You go shark chasing when you're alone? Is that what you do?
No, compare scars.
You know, this movie was based on a time when men were men and the shark were afraid of men. And, sometimes you just want to get close about your scars.
Scars.
And sing sea shanties.
Yes.
Yes.
And get
reluctantly too.
That is the bravest move of the whole thing. Like, we're hunting a killer animal. Do you know what time it is? Drinking time.
Yeah, like I think when Quint saw Hooper, he was like, fresh fish. Let's get close to this guy. You shave everywhere.
Hooper does not.
Clearly,
that is a hairy
clearly
man.
not.
I don't know what you're
Okay,
talking about. Crew neck, what?
Okay, questions
You're
with
like my
Steven.
little walrus.
Questions
Okay.
with Steven.
Yes.
Questions
Go,
with
Steven. Talk to me.
Steven.
I don't recognize any of these actors. Did any of them do anything else? Are these famous people? Hooper, okay.
Hooper, who he pretty much is the only one that is still alive. Quint died in 1976.
Ooh,
and
right
then
after.
Brody died, I don't know,
died in
what,
the
in the
movie.
80s or 90s? Well, I mean, the actor
But he
died
did go
in
on.
the 90s.
The actor died.
To do other stuff. He was in Blue Thunder. He was in Space Odyssey.
And French
Yeah,
Connection.
but I would say Richard Dreyfuss Hooper was the one that, like, he's still alive and has had, like, a film career.
Through the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
What about Bob? Another Milbury
The Milbury special.
specialty.
Yeah. But this one, he's not picking up chicks.
What?
Yeah,
I mean, he must not have
he's
been on
just
the
a
writing
goof.
team.
And the wife was also in all of the other Jaws movies. I'm pretty sure she was in all of them.
How many Jaws
Yeah.
movies
At least
are
in
there?
2 and in 4. Whether she was in 3, I don't know.
Wow.
Or I don't remember.
Never seen the others. I mean, is it even worth my time to see them?
Jaws 3D is rough. Jaws 3D has why can't I think of his name?
Is Jaws 3D the third one?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's in 3D, or it was filmed in 3D. Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid is in Jaws 3.
That's a familiar name.
Okay.
And Leah Thompson. Right. I forgot she was in it.
I make flashcards for you, Steven.
I personally have seen Jaws 4 the most because that one was on HBO repeatedly, and it was in the Bahamas, and the shark was trying to kill the Brody family. Not just
Brody still being attacked by sharks?
Yeah.
Dang.
How do you write that into the plot and make it make sense? You just don't.
It doesn't. It's just
like they're not like
they get kind of silly as we go along.
Oh,
so
no. Yeah, like Sharknado levels.
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
that wasn't as delivered with as much confidence as I was hoping for.
I'm going to go on record that it started crazy. It just didn't get there. Like, this movie is bananas and is not the least bit realistic at all. So, I mean, they didn't exactly start off from a sound dock there.
So, a couple of scenes that, and I want to know if this is like a Spielberg theme. And I'm going to try to articulate it the best I can, but I it made me feel something, and I want to know what that feeling is as far as cinema goes. So there was two scenes. It was kind of like right next to it, and I didn't know if that was a Spielberg thing, or it kind of felt like Edward Scissorhands, like when you're trying to make like a over-the-top society. So the city council running around with the mayor, like all the like henchmen kind of thing. That was a little campy that was a little campy to me, but like I get what they were trying to convey. It was like almost theatrical, like stage play level of like, I don't know what the word is, like and then
the mayor wouldn't just show up by himself kind of thing.
Well, it was like how it was framed and how they were kind of like almost like waddling like maniacally, like it was just like they were intentionally conveying like that these aren't like the greatest people.
All right.
And then also the mother of the kid that got edited,
Alex's mom.
Her being in
Alex's mom.
Yeah, Alex's mom. Her being in like the black mourning, like they just came from the funeral kind of thing. I think that was a little over the top because you would have her just coming up and slapping is like you would have gotten it without that. So I thought that was just a little bit weird. But is that like a Spielberg thing?
They did just come from the funeral though.
Right,
like, but this movie moves at a pretty quick pace.
Right.
Plus, I'd like to say that there's two movies in this. There's like the town movie and there's like men being men movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very much split in half.
Yeah.
And I kind of watched it that way too.
So did I.
I was like, we got to the water. I was like, I'm breaking. And then I came back on. I was like, 40 minutes on the water. Okay, let's go.
And that's where it did feel like a stage play. Is like we hit intermission, like scene change. Like, is this been adapted to the stage, like Broadway?
Yes. There's actually a play that
at SeaWorld.
I believe it's Robert Shaw's son or grandson. It's called The Shark Doesn't Work. The Shark is Broken. The Shark is Broken. It just happened recently. They're doing it on the West End, but it's like I watched the trailer for it, and it's not obviously just a play with the exact, like they're kind of spoofing on it and making jokes about it and stuff like that. So but it's pretty much what looks like just the boat scene on a stage play with some laughs and whatnot in there.
I like that. That sounds awesome. You cut out all of the BS from this. Like, I don't want to see the Willy Wonka town and Alex's mom and
it
getting
did
deleted.
Feel like a parody of a town, right?
Or fuck Pippet out there, that damn dog. I didn't need any of that.
That dog got wrecked.
My feeling why you think that it feels like a fake town is because there weren't as far as I could decipher, like a lot of those people were locals. Mm-hmm. Or something, like they
looked realistically. I more like I've only ever seen it in Edward Scissorhands, where they like intentionally make it look like surreal almost. Like the opening scene, not the opening scene, but the first scene with the main character, and he's like waking up and stuff, and their kids are already outside. Like it just felt uncanny. And I don't know, like, are they everything was shot out on set, right? Like, it wasn't a set, it was on location, right?
Yeah, but I mean, this was made before I was dropped on this planet, but I grew up in this time frame. That's how shit was.
No, I have no problem. Like, I totally get that. The kids are up, the sun is up, they're out there doing stuff. You're like, oh, what's going on?
They're actually supposed to be outside.
Right. No, it wasn't that. No, I'm literally saying just like the look, like the visuals of it, not the plot points of it.
I think that's what you're going to speak into
Vineyard.
Well, that and Steven Spielberg's style.
It is Steven Spielberg's style. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I will tag onto that. Yeah, that's his style. Like if you watch like Close Encounters too, I think that kind of has it's just
Richard Dreyfuss is in Close Encounters. There you go.
Yes. But yeah, that is a very Steven Spielberg style.
Yeah, because Spielberg did Gremlins, right? Am I tripping?
Producer.
He did.
No, he's a producer.
He
was a producer.
Yeah. Okay.
It was called Steven Spielberg's Gremlins, but he did not direct it.
Okay, I'm trying to think of something that he was.
Let me go double check my
Jurassic Park.
Joe Dante.
Yeah, Joe Dante did Gremlins.
Yeah, Jurassic Park didn't feel like. Wait, he didn't. Are you lying?
Oh
to
my
me?
God!
Yes, he did.
Are we making the connection? Oh God! Little lady.
Yes.
Oh, we're watching it in real time.
Future Nick, go full screen.
No, don't do it.
Push in.
Zoom in. Do a full Spielberg zoom in on his face, please.
The maths are happening around his head.
My other question is, this was very Godzilla coded, and I know that.
It's a monster movie.
It is a monster movie, but even the boat scene I thought was, and Quint's background of like ferrying the bomb and stuff, like, and the monster being this threat that also showcases a criticism of the government, because that like the whole point is like the small town government just like refused to do anything about the monster. Like that's very what Godzilla started with, and we saw it very much in -1, which I think kind of like it's like starting to emulate cyclically, like.
My note was
like
Steven, do you see the similarities to Godzilla -1?
Yes, I do. I get it now. But I thought that, like, that's awesome.
Hey,
like,
Mikey, he gets it.
I'm getting it.
Sharks are circling.
But I think that's neat. Like if Spielberg was like referencing Godzilla, and then now Godzilla is referencing Jaws, and then maybe we get back to making good monster movies. Because I don't think...
the Indianapolis actually happened, too. That was an actual sinking of a ship that really happened.
Yeah, we checked that. We Googled that, like, when we were watching it. Like, oh, that's awesome. I like that stuff. Like, it really grounds films like this. Like, there is 100% chance this exact movie could play out in reality. Like, the shark wasn't over the top. It was just a great white. It was a hyper-aggressive great white, but it was still a great white. It wasn't like the uber, like, crazy, out-of-pocket thing. And I think that's what I liked about Twister as well. Like, a really grounded monster film, I think, makes it a little bit better. Not that I don't love Tremors. I still think Tremors and -1 are my top tier, but...
Fun fact is they wanted to use a real great white, and then they learned you can't train those.
You can't train those. But one of the cage scenes, they did use real sharks.
Yeah, there was when it was flopping around on the cage.
Yeah, they just accidentally was able to capture that because the shark got hung up in the thing, and they're like, I don't know how they wouldn't have gotten away with actually using that footage, because I'm sure that shark was probably maimed. Not that they caused it to
I don't
happen,
know.
but they kind of contributed to it.
I've seen some pretty wild shark cage situations, like real shark cage situations. And these sharks swim off and seemingly are unfazed by it.
Oh, sweet.
You're like, they're
just killing machines. Fast, hypersensitive killing machines.
That is what they do.
They're really good at it.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
they eat, they swim, and they make baby sharks.
Do we know if the first captured shark was a real shark or was it a prop?
I don't know. I was
I'm
wondering
guessing
that
that's
too.
It looked
I'd go with
good.
prop.
Voting
It did,
prop.
I did note that too. I was like, was it a prop? Was it real? I don't know.
I don't know. Not sure.
I think a still shark could be done pretty easily by the prop department.
Oh, for sure.
Pretty convincing.
But I mean, also just getting a shark was probably a feasible thing to do as well.
Gonna have to check the end of the movie, see what was hurt.
Do they have to disclose that then?
No. And
We didn't care.
Well, me and my wife saw an old black and white French film, and there's I can't remember what the film's called, but there's at least a 2-minute sequence of them just obliterating rabbits in a hunting scene. It's just like, wow. I don't think people would watch that these days.
Steven and
If you have a lawn,
dislike for French films.
Yeah, I've decided I don't know if French films should be made.
sorry, France.
Yeah, we'll have to find a good French film for you to watch.
That's fine. Your directors need some hard thinking, maybe to stare at a wall for a little bit and think about what they've done.
There was a show that was on back in 2012, and I think it caught either the guy or the show or something caught some flack for it or what they were doing. On the show, I didn't see anything wrong with what they were doing, but they were off the coast of Africa and tagging great whites. They were kind of baiting and catching them, bringing them onto a platform, samples, tagging, all the things so they could keep track of what's happening. And then they would release them, and they all were timed. Like they were only allowed to be out of the water for a certain amount of time. And I really, really enjoyed the show. Again, he caught flack for whatever he did. I don't know what that is. The show is called Shark Wranglers. It was on A&E. Pretty cool show, but that spurred, I think, did anyone find out when Shark Week started? I think it was way before that. But I have, this movie definitely, I would assume have
100%
spurred on that show.
Oh yes, yeah. The summer blockbuster, summer television, it's all Jaws, baby. That's where it came from. There's no doubt in my mind.
1988, July 17th.
That's
1988.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
It's been out for a while, and it's probably off the heat of that Jaws 4.
The heat,
right? Right?
Well, they were probably trying to figure out how to make money back on it, because I don't think that made money in the theaters. So they're like, how do we get people to watch the movie? We'll just machine gun it on TV, and we'll make it all about sharks and everything's sharks.
1987 was Jaws: The Revenge.
So that was 2, right?
No, that
Revenge is 4. Sorry, that's 4.
Revenge is technically 4. So I mean, that hit. I'm sure that HBO playing it all the time hit the executive. He's like, we gotta throw this out here. My kids love sharks.
Yeah, with Mario Van Peebles, right?
When
it was so popular, they even made a joke about Jaws and Back to the Future 2.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jaws 3D.
Well, I mean, from 75 to 87. So over the course of 12 years, they pumped out 4 movies about a shark that will not let it go.
The same
and a whole
family.
and a family of sharks, spoiler alert, that also don't know how to let it go.
Correct.
It spawned horrible video games.
Really?
Yes.
The NES Jaws game.
It was rough.
It was rough.
Might have to find it.
Yes.
Let's see what it goes for on eBay. Fact checking.
Yeah. It's a couple of different games, but I did play it. I mean, I do remember that time of the Jaws. So by the time we got into Back to the Future 2, I mean, it made for a good joke, especially coming off of the Jaws 3D. And then you see like the way that Marty gets ate by the digital shark.
That's expensive.
Yeah, the giant fake-looking shark.
Wow.
And
$5,000?
really
Is that the one that you're...
No, that's probably a
Steven, is
graded one. No. I'm looking at box.
Oh, okay.
Complete in box is around $60. That's pretty high for an NES, honestly. Not complete in box NES, but a lot of like a bad NES game to get it loose for 15. Yeah. Wow.
Are you going to get one? Are you going to get one for the collection?
There was some.
If this gets 1 million
updates. So please like and subscribe and comment
do all the great
so
things.
We can have Steven spend an obscene amount of money.
I'm not getting that one. No.
Come on.
Movie video games don't have a good track record.
Thanks, E.T. And Spielberg movie video games especially. I know that, E.T.
It had some fun components, but it just when you got to the battle part with Jaws, it felt wonky.
Weren't you trying to ram him with a boat or something?
Yeah, you're trying to ram him with the boat. It felt a lot like landing on the aircraft carrier for Top Gun, if you ever played that. So, but yeah, another great movie video game. Thanks, Konami. And I
just crashing them.
Yeah,
I'd never landed on it. Never landed on it. Might have been
all the way over.
All right. So that was a long question time with Steven. But...
Question time with Steven.
It was a little mix of education with Steven too. So
yes, filling him in on the things.
Steven, this might be interesting to you.
Oh,
the shark itself, the mechanical shark, was named Bruce, which is like a nod to Finding Nemo, the shark named Bruce. But it was named Bruce because Steven Spielberg's lawyer was also named Bruce. So, yeah.
As you'll say. But Finding Nemo was a nod to Jaws, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
they named him after.
Okay.
That was some serious groundwork to a side character.
Yeah.
38
Origin
years
story.
in the making.
Wait, is Finding Nemo a prequel to Jaws? Question mark.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sure there could be a connection made somewhere.
Oh, it can't be a prequel because they're both period pieces, and they take place in different times.
End the episode quickly.
Oh, yes. Finding Nemo, the period piece.
The period piece.
It was a period in water.
The real story.
Well, because they had dates and stuff on the newspaper in Jaws, so that sets it in a specific time and place, so it is a period piece. Yes.
No.
They could have said it in the future. They could have said, they could have said it outside of time. Like The Substance is not a period piece because you don't know when it takes place.
That is correct. Good job.
And what's that movie with Harrison Ford where he's in the future with the robots? Not a period piece.
Indiana Jones?
That is a period piece because
I see the argument that could be made.
We're so many episodes in and I'm finally getting
with this one. I will slightly move into that area, but
his BS and don't do it.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
No, if
absolutely
it is filmed
not.
in the time period that if the film takes place in the time period that it was filmed, and it's not a period piece.
Why? Because that's an intentional decision by. Like, you can make it so you don't know when it's taking place. Like, if
it is like filmed in modern times of the same time period, no, disagree. You're not going to change my mind.
I haven't been to Martha's Vineyard, but I can also imagine that it is also like stepping back
it's so
into
realistic
time.
for 1975, as if it was filmed
They're not big on renovating and updating stuff. They try to keep it as OG as possible. So
there, while I was digging for information, the video was from 3 years ago, and so I think it was about that time. I think around that, about 3 to 4 years ago. Greg Nicotero, who did is special effects makeup artist, who did all the stuff for The Walking Dead, found, or there was, knew of the shark that was in Universal that was hanging upside down. I have a picture of it. I'll put it up right here. But
I've seen it.
I'm pretty sure I've stood with it because I was there when it got taken down in the 90s sometime, whether in the late 90s. But the shark, the inside was the fiberglass casting of Bruce, of the Jaws that that was in the so it was a full fiberglass casting. He wanted to do the restoration for it, but Universal had just put it in a junkyard, so he managed to get it. Asked them to he wanted to do the full restoration, ripped it apart, got it down to the fiberglass hull, built it back up, sculpted all the things that it needed to in the inside of the mouth, and now it's hanging at the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures.
Wonderful. Good for him.
As you're
Love
coming down
that.
the elevator, it's like they have it at an angle looking like it's coming on, gonna come down on you.
Where
Poor
is that
bastard
at?
of a shark. Like it's pretty much like, what have you done for me lately? I mean, like, you made me $500 million. Go fuck yourself. Go to a junkyard. Are you kidding me? That's so weird.
They just didn't keep props for movies. They just didn't.
It is like the prop, though.
I know.
All the things you could save.
I think all the other ones might have been, lost to time, but that one was specifically at Universal.
I'm glad he restored it. Good for him. That guy's awesome as hell.
Yeah,
I love his work.
Pretty great.
And he
Where's
apparently
that
has
museum? That sounds cool.
great work ethic.
It's in LA.
Oh,
So-
that's
You're gonna have to take
too far.
take a trip. Steven's favorite town.
Probably my second favorite town. It's kind of
Next to New York.
yeah. I think New York just ekes it out just a hair.
All right, so do we want to get into some scores for this?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to add a new segment.
Just gonna go grab a beer.
A 2 new segments episode. What was everybody's favorite scene?
Ooh.
One scene. You got to pick. Wow, we're really
thinking
thinking.
real hard on this one.
I've got mine.
Okay,
I've got
go,
mine.
Cam. Go.
The first time that Brody sees the shark in the water, and like the quick close up into it, I really like that shot.
Like when he's on the beach.
Yeah, when he's on the beach and we like tighten up on him.
I do like that shot. That's a really great shot.
It's definitely one that's been emulated a lot, but that's kind of his directing prowess in that, and really got your attention and sense of alertness and suspense into it.
That came from Alfred Hitchcock.
There you go.
That shot
That's
came from Alfred Hitchcock.
How did they do that type of shot? I didn't look up how it was done.
Sorry to interrupt, editor Nick here. In the upcoming segment, my excitement got the better of me that I had some film knowledge that I could bring to the group while talking about the infamous dolly zoom shot. Unfortunately, I kept using the word focus instead of the word zoom, which is in the title of what the actual camera movement is. So in order to achieve that parallaxing effect, you either dolly the camera in and zoom out, or you dolly the camera out and zoom in. So just know that when I say focus, I meant zoom, is what my brain was trying to tell my mouth, but it was not coming out. So back to the show. You dolly the camera in, and you you rack your focus backwards. So you're pushing in and pulling back. If you've watched the show Severance, have you seen Severance at all? They do that every time they go in the elevator.
Yeah.
The camera's coming at somebody and pulling their focus backwards, or vice versa. You can do it other ways. So the background will separate from you to make you feel isolated. And so when they go do it the other way, like they did in this movie, it brings a whole level of emotion to each shot.
That's an amazing shot, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of they showed us.
It was from? Just curious if you knew.
I did. I wrote it down.
While we're searching that, and Nick probably.
Oh yeah, it is Vertigo.
It's
yeah,
Vertigo.
I just pulled up the shot right here. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I need to revisit Vertigo.
Yes.
Does everybody else have their scene yet, or do you want me to go to stall time?
I think I have mine.
Go.
I mean, I've seen this film a few times, but it still like surprised me when like the shark actually like jumped up on the orca and you like saw the full mechanic and like Quint getting eaten and you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah, this movie got real.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, like that was awesome. I really like being.
What's the orca?
It's the boat.
And
Like an orca as in a whale or something, or is it referencing something that I don't know?
what kind of whale?
Killer whale?
Mm-hmm. What do killer whales do?
They eat dolphins?
I
don't know.
bigger.
It's a lot of pressure.
You're gonna need a bigger
sharks?
fish. They eat sharks.
They eat sharks.
They eat
yes.
sharks.
I got you.
Yeah. Okay.
I got that.
That was another connection for you.
Yay, I did it.
At some
I
point
actually
in
didn't know
time,
that, so I learned something.
Oh, jeez,
some point in
Cam, I
time-
don't know.
there's gonna be a bar trivia somewhere that's
All right,
gonna
Morty.
ask you what was the name of the of the boat in Jaws.
Yeah. Full Slumdog Millionaire.
He's
Win $1
gonna
million.
forget, don't worry.
I'm gonna forget.
I don't remember any of those people or that fish.
What movie? I don't think I've seen that movie. And Megalodon, the 2004.
Jason
Classic.
Statham?
Gosh,
Hell
shut
yeah.
up, Steven. Anyway, I liked that was the first time you saw the full animatronic of the shark. It was just hidden from the audience the entire movie. Not honestly for practical reasons, but it was
Right.
still cool to finally see it.
Yeah. And they very
Big
much
reveal.
reference it in Graboid territory a lot in the first Tremors when he bursts through the shop and stuff at the general store.
Once. I need to see it again.
It's
We're
been
watching
a while,
it. We're
so
watching it. Damn it! When it's my turn
We're
again,
watching it,
we're
don't
watching
worry.
Tremors.
Yeah. All right, Steven, what is your scene?
I really liked Quint's monologue.
1,100 men went into the water. Vessel went down in 12 minutes. Didn't see the first shark for about half an hour.
I thought it was really engaging. I was like,
Yeah.
It's a fantastic monologue.
if I was going to learn a monologue and perform it, I think that would be the one that I would do because that was just great.
A lot of people do that.
Really? Okay, that's a good one.
It's a
I-
very
That's one-
famous monologue.
famous one.
okay, yeah, it was very well done.
It's regarded
I really
as like
liked
one
it.
of the best monologues. Like, of all
Okay,
time.
hey, you know what? I got some taste.
You. Yes, good job.
Yeah.
So I guess
But yes,
it's hard to
a
pick.
fantastic scene.
It's hard to pick one. I would say the monologue, of course, but one specific shot or one specific scene would be either when they find what's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. When it's at night and they're Brody and Hooper are on Hooper's boat and they go and they're just out.
Oh, they
they're
see
drunk
the
and
find the head.
and they find the head and the shark tooth and it scares the crap out of him. Like that scene
It's a great scene.
is so tense.
Yes,
the other
it is.
one, the other one is when nothing is happening. We're on the boat and the reel clicks once, and it clicks a second time. We see Quint grabs his like belt, the
harness,
fishing belt, and like starts hooking himself up like he knows some shit's gonna happen. And it's just, and no one else is, Brody's sitting there playing with knots, and I forget what Hooper's off doing, but just that scene where like it's just building that little piece of tension, and you're like, every movement is building tension, every piece of that shot. Mm-hmm. So
I remember the other scene I really like, when where they're drinking and they're singing, and there's finally like some camaraderie or like leveling the playing field or commonality between Quint and Hooper, because they're just constantly fighting over like education versus like, real man
grit
and grit, and comparing scars. I like that scene. It's fun, and they're singing, and then there's just like the audience knows the shark is coming, and there's just that building tension until it starts like ramming the ship. I like that too.
Which is I'm sure that's where Cam said is unrealistic.
But I mean,
there's definitely the flip side of this movie that, created a sense of hysteria against sharks. It, portrayed something that isn't the least bit legitimate out there. It's going to target you and just keep bashing away at you. I mean, oddly enough, the orcas these days, that's kind of shit that they're doing.
They're
scarier.
Yeah,
they're smarter.
They're kind of scary, but yeah, like from the shark point of view, like I just don't see that. I do think that you should be aware of some sharks when you're out there in the water. Sometimes bull sharks and things that do come into the shoreline can snag you and mess you up. I don't think it did it justice, but it's supposed to be a monster movie.
Just like Twister and all that stuff,
Yeah.
You got to let go in it. And I mean, ultimately, that's kind of the things that degrades my score on this movie, is just because of how damaging I think it was, and like not realistic to a degree. Like I've definitely seen enough Shark Week and shark footage to just know like what sharks are like when they attack. And I mean, it's like the poor woman getting circled around and stuff.
I was like
it's definitely over the top. I think a lot more could have been done with less too, but it is what it is. And the fact that it spawned so many extra movies to even be its own meme in Back to the Future, I mean, just kind of lends to the level of ridiculousness over time.
So to piggyback on that, hold on one second. To piggyback on that, and also our last episode with Kevin Smith, is that this shark is deemed to be 25 feet long. I don't think what I just did a quick search. I don't think they've recorded anything over 21 feet so this thing's the biggest shark that has ever been, other than Megalodon.
But that's a realistic, like, biggest one. Like, they didn't make it like 50 feet or something ridiculous.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, the Shark Wrangler show, they claimed to get a 24-footer. So anyways, but that's not the point. Kevin Smith uses Jaws as a unit of measurement. So anything that's outside of, anything that's bigger than 25 feet, he uses, it's 3 Jawses long. It's 5 Jawses big.
Funny joke how Americans will use anything as a unit of measurement.
Football field.
Like the actual metric system.
Right? Yeah, anything but the metric. I'm all about that.
What I was going to say was, how you were saying the beginning with Chrissy, like, getting eaten and how it was kind of campy. That was also like they wanted it to be like really gruesome. They wanted to show the shark and they couldn't because the mechanics of the shark just kept breaking down. So that was like their way. Like they had to like rig her up on like this pulley system as like a way to show, but not like actually show the shark that she was being eaten. I don't know. It was a creative way of working around their limitations.
I think it would have played out very differently, and I think all of the not seeing the shark until we don't see the shark until an hour into the movie,
which is
other than
a lot of building tension, letting the audience fill in the blanks. Yeah,
and that's how shark attacks are. Like people, bloom, gone. Like,
yeah.
If it were to happen in the situation, like, I managed to narrowly avoid traumatizing my kids because I was like, oh, we can watch a dinosaur documentary. Those are always cool. I forget how brutal any like CGI dinosaur show is every time.
It's not a Land Before Time.
Oh man, even Land Before Time is kind of like
yeah.
But there's like
that's rough. Yeah,
the mama T-Rex is escorting her little babies like across like a waterway, and so they have to swim just like a little stint, like beach to beach, and just like all of a sudden you see one little cute babies that you've been following for 20 minutes just under the water, gone, and it's just like and so it's like you can effectively do it. And I was like, oh, we're gonna not worry about that, kids. But like the beach scene wasn't very like over the top gruesome by any means. It was just really fast. And you're like, like the panic is like what scares you. Like you don't have to have like this like CGI like body parts are flying, like the shark breaks the surface of the water, shaking someone into oblivion. That's not as effective to me.
I mean, that's they did the same thing with in Saving Private Ryan as they did here, is that he put the camera in the water and people are frantically, you have the mother screaming, holding her child, and everyone's just running past you and
getting trampled.
Getting trampled, like it puts you in that scenario and you're like, oh yeah, that would scare the shit out of me. I would be doing the same exact thing. Trying not to trample anybody in the process.
And I think in defense, if I'm going to be Jaws' lawyer against Cam's case that he's building, that is...
I am willing to cross-examine right now.
We're talking about like this movie manifest hysteria and shark hysteria. It's like, but that is the scariest part of this. Like by all means, this wasn't like the worst, like the shark slaughtered like 200 people or anything. It killed 3 people realistically within the film, and that hysteria is what is shown in the film. So that's what makes it the monster, is just the fear of what it can do, not necessarily all the actions that it did.
Yeah.
I'd like to cross-examine on the fact that during that beach scene, I doubt that a 20+ foot shark is going to be in 5 feet of water.
Correct.
6 feet of water. I mean, it's like a damn submarine. I just don't see a shark of that size,
but
coming
it would
that
scare
close
you
into the shoreline. I mean, I guess
and for all extended purposes, it could have been different
ridiculousness.
sharks. There's just like this beach happened to be on like the mating routine of the great white, and like they just kind of like were messing with people, and like who would expect them to be in that shallow water? That's scurry. Like that's kind of what I was interpreting.
Get surprisingly close to shore, within 100 yards or even 50 from the shoreline.
I'd like to know how deep water, though.
Okay.
I mean, like that's actually kind of far from the beach, like an entire football field. I don't know how often y'all go to the beach, but I don't think I usually go out a football field away from the shoreline just because of riptides, and I just don't know.
No, there's monsters in there.
They're spooky.
Have
you not seen
Jaws? I need to see my
Jaws?
feet in the water. Have you not seen Jaws? Here we go. Full circle.
Yeah. Sharks are circling.
Yeah, I need to see my
Our
feet when I'm in the water. No murky water for me, please. Mm-mm.
All right, do we want to get into scores?
Scores
For a little bit.
Yep.
Score this up.
I want to hear Cam's. I want to hear the haterade.
All right, so
we're just gonna bust them right out.
Just gonna bust this out. Nostalgia bias on this one is pretty high. I'm giving it an 8. Like Jaws 3D was my first memory of Jaws, not this movie. So it's more the lineage of Jaws. We touched on the HBO pushing Jaws: The Revenge, the NES game. I was frightened of the freshwater sharks that were in my pool growing up. Definitely not swimming at night. That's when they're most active, apparently. So
I'm gonna break my neck fucking nodding to this.
You're like, yeah. I'm just like, my pool.
I feel like I need to see these movies.
We were in above ground pools and we were still sketched. I did think it was funny that when they panned to the first girl that died, that she had crabs. I think that was a PSA.
Oh,
anyways.
Fun fact, that is not a prosthetic arm. That is a crew member that they buried in the sand because the prosthetic arm looked too fake.
Hey!
Fun fact.
That's how we went over budget,
Thanks.
goddamn. We had to pay him extra to bury him.
$7 million. Like buried treasure out there.
We had to cut that guy's arm off. That was expensive.
He still likes that arm. For production, I gave this one an 8. Mostly because that was the dopest police blazer ever. Brody's truck was awesome. I don't know what that was, but it was pretty cool. Piece. Yeah, it's period piece. They definitely know how to make an entrance.
Yeah, it looked like it was made in the 70s. It was awesome.
A lot went into this movie from shooting, from the story, and from obviously the practical effects, and I mean really raising the bar on animatronics in general. For spirit and intent on this movie, I mean I think he hit the mark entirely. Over budget, on budget. I give this one an 8. He really wrote a touching story about men being men in confined spaces. And the closer and the more time that we spend together, the closer we get and we start rubbing scars together. And that's really what this movie is about, is scars. I was scarred mentally from it. Rewatchability on this one is tough because I have not seen this movie in decades. It's not one that I've gone back to, and it's mostly because I do not like the monster movie aspect of this. I think for Jaws as just on its own, I think it would have been fine. Jaws 2, 3, 4, all the other things that came after it. I think
Brody family.
I know. Yeah, like I think it actually hurts Jaws overall. Like it doesnnn't necessarily need to be a franchise. I remember going to
like the Star Wars sequels.
Yeah, those should have been aborted. Yeah, pro-choice on that one. I remember going to Universal Studios. I remember seeing the shark. I mean, my Universal Studios days in California was when they had Knight Rider there. So the Jaws attraction was open. And I think that actually fucked me up more as a kid, was seeing Jaws in that little pond and that poor bastard in the rowboat. And I was like, it's happening. And I was done. I couldn't go back in the water.
What Universal was it? Hollywood or Orlando?
Yeah, Hollywood.
Okay.
And I think it's Center City in.
Yeah, I think it's still there. There is not a Jaws attraction here anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, like I remember going on and it was kind of fun. So I mean, that goes on. But rewatchability for me, outside of seeing and going to those things in the 80s, it hasn't really been on my mind. I give this one a 6. It was fun to go back to this and, again, be objective in the film a little bit more. But I doubt that I will watch this movie again. I'm it kind of holds up, and like I'm more pro animal on this. I like it. It does sit in the back of my head of how many dead sharks happened as a result of that, and it's crazy. It definitely happened as a result. And like it's not realistic because like the movie wasn't realistic. There shouldn't have been a realistic consequence to it either. Overall on Jaws, I give it a 5.
Wow!
Yeah, I mean, like,
wow.
it is not my, like, there's a lot of good things about this movie, from a production standpoint, but the rest of it, it just doesn't, it doesn't carry for me. And I don't think it's something that holds up either over time after 50 years. I think it created a sense of hysteria. It definitely had the people running to the theaters. And I definitely believe the added movies just tanked it overall. That like does not make me interested in revisiting this. So that gave me a total of 35 for a 70%.
Jesus.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. That took a nosedive.
Man, that is the most sour haterade I've seen from you yet. Good Lord.
I don't know. The substance was pretty rough, but
I know what they had to work with the shark. There was a lot of hurdles from a logistics and mechanical point of view to get to where it was, but it doesn't hold up in 2025. It's not. It should have been shot in space at that point, because like that's how fantasy it is. But the boat scenes were great.
Interesting take.
I think that's why I don't watch as many movies anymore. And like
because you're an angry old man, Lord.
No, like it's
Grumpy pants over here.
He's gonna be in the nursing home, like, oh,
it's different.
Son again.
Jaws and gremlins. Yeah.
I've had plenty of time to explore nostalgia, and I think my dumbass kid point of view doesn't align with my dumbass adult point of view, and that's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
But there's things I can appreciate it, and that's why we have the scoring system. Like that's why it's still got a 70 and not a 50. Because there's things that I can identify and appreciate within this movie, but overall, I'll just hang out on the beach.
Okay. All right. Do one of the millennials want to go, or do we want to go back to back Gen X?
You want to go, Catherine, or do you want me to course correct?
Yeah, I can go.
Yeah,
I can go. We can course correct this.
Fix this fucking shit.
Let's fix this sinking ship. Jeez.
Bail water.
Let's take.
Don't even get me started on the whole the orca setup. Wild.
Not all movies need to be realistic, man. It's just for entertainment.
I can't imagine what you do if you read a book.
I like to read my books on TV.
Book review.
Through the eyes of Steven Spielberg.
Okay, so nostalgia and bias. I did not grow up watching this film, obviously. First time I saw this movie, I was in college. Group of friends, huge Star Wars nerds, and they needed to educate the young ones. So this turned into a John Williams movie night.
Nice.
So I watched Jaws for the first time with a group of friends in college, and I enjoyed it. It didn't really stick with me too much, so I've seen it a few times since then. But
what other movies were on the list that night? Just wondering.
I mean, obviously Star Wars. I mostly remember Star Wars and Jaws.
It's already a marathon double feature by the time you get. This is a 2 hour and 4 minute movie.
We didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't
It
watch
was
them all
long.
in one night. We had a regular movie night. It wasn't one night. We binged all these movies.
Yeah. I was just thinking you needed a bigger movie theater, and you just went after them because they wanted to educate you in this college. Carry on. I'm sorry.
There was a running joke that we should watch Stepmom, and lo and behold, John Williams did score that movie. Just wanted to put that out there.
Oh, nice.
Anyway.
Residuals were not kicking in by then, apparently.
I was like, that one could be added to the list. So my nostalgia and bias for this was a 7. I was excited to revisit it. Just being a big movie buff, going to Universal all the time now. Jaws is everywhere. It's in your face. Mm-hmm. They love to cash in on this movie. They still very much are.
But they don't care about the props.
Egregious.
Hollow.
They do now, but back then they didn't.
like the inside of the Jaws that was left at the dumpster.
Man, you got a lot of affinity for this prop for as much as you just hate the movie.
For a movie that he doesn't like.
That movie made everyone a lot of money. It definitely puts Spielberg on the map as a result of it. Like, we wouldn't have the things that we have today if it wasn't for this movie. So yeah, like.
Yeah.
It's just an observation. A little weird. Wasn't enough money around to do anything with this. $500 million.
Sorry, Catherine, we'll get back to you in 1 second, but Gremlins, what was the other thing? The turtles from the original TMNT. No, the props. Is that what you were talking about? Like, them just props. The foam gets like all of the components start breaking down, and they
all
just
the Power Rangers stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like the original ET. Yeah,
degrade over time, and so
are there a lot of Muppets that are kind of like? Ugh.
I think so.
Potentially, yeah.
Hand grease and fabric just.
Yeah, it doesn't. So the one that Nicotero refurbished was, the one that he refurbished was covered in like a, what do you say? It was almost like a roofing tar, because it was going to sit outside, like, so it was just had this weird texture to it, and they had to like peel all of that off to get to the fiberglass hull of it.
Wow.
Yucky.
Yeah. Yes, very yucky. All right, back to Katherine.
Okay. Production value, I'm giving it a 9. Considering they had so many limitations, so many problems with filming, and they just found creative ways around it. And one of the creative ways is expanding the budget.
Hey, creative budgeting is,
creative budgeting.
Creative.
Yeah. But there's a lot of really impressive camera work in there. Like finally seeing the shark. A lot of like building suspense. The score's iconic. It's a 9. Like, this film is famous. It's well known. It's famous for a reason. It's set the precedent for blockbusters, and you kind of have to respect it for that. And then spirit, emotional intent, value and intent. Again, a 9. They set out to do what they wanted to do with this film. I like how it is kind of like a tight, focused story. It like starts out a little more broad with like the town and the island, and it just slowly goes all the way in between like man versus shark at the very, very end. Just like on the orca, Brody versus the shark. And I liked the camaraderie between the three of them, like using their own like special skill sets and working together to take this shark out. And then rewatch, I'm giving it a 9. Definitely enjoyed this film. We'll be watching it many times over. It's just overall fun, suspenseful, exciting, a little gory. It's a classic for a reason. And overall, unlike Haterade over there, I'm giving it a 9.
Fucking bootlickers. On fucking Universal's payroll.
No, I just legitimately like the movie.
He's not gonna like my score.
Did you see my product placement in here? Did I do good? I got the score up too.
Not sponsored. Not sponsored. Genwas is not affiliated with Universal Pictures or any of its subsidiaries.
I already liked the film before that. But anyway, 9 overall, giving me a 43 out of 50 at 86%.
We're not that far off. We're about a Jaws away.
Nice.
I'm going to call that a reel back.
No, Cam, our scores are about a Jaws away. Not yours.
All right, go, Nick, go.
Go.
All right. So, nostalgia for this movie is a 10. This is scared generations of people from going in the ocean, myself included. I've watched this movie too many times to count. I watch it I've probably seen it every few years or so. We just watched it at the end of last summer at our friend's pool. And so we floated around in the pool and watched Jaws on a big screen.
PTSD.
That's
Awesome.
I love that.
So I will say, though, from what Cam said of the random chlorine pool sharks, I did not feel... As an adult, I don't have that anymore. But yes, we had a pool growing up. And if I was in the pool by myself, typically, like, as sun was setting, like... The deep end was a scary place. Like, the deep end...
Was that part of, like, one of the other Jaws films?
No.
No.
It's just... It's a large body of water.
That's just
yeah.
childhood fear.
It was like
doesn't
a
make
random...
sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, a random shark was just going to spawn itself in the deep end, and then I had to swim away from it. So, yes.
Or get deleted.
Or
It's
get
like
deleted.
if you run up the basement steps fast enough.
Right,
Yeah,
turn the lights off.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, as a kid, this movie made me terrified of water that I was in by myself or the ocean. The ocean was, I guess, before I watched this movie, I used to go in the ocean all the time. And now I don't go in the ocean ever. Like, there's monsters in there.
It's
We don't
still
go there.
scaring you.
No, I just know the things that are there, and I don't belong there. I don't have gills. I can swim, but I can't
Fish
swim
pee
as
in
fast
that.
as them.
Gross.
That's not a...
Shout out to Waterworld.
This movie also made me scared of dark water. Don't go in dark water, whether that's a pond, whether that's a whatever. Just don't go in there. You don't know what's
Pond
in there.
sharks are
Gotta
the
see your
worst.
feet.
Pond sharks are the worst.
Snapping turtles getting your pigglies.
No, that's definitely a real deal you don't want to mess with.
Yeah.
I'll get Spielberg on it right now. Snapping turtle.
I'm sure there's been a snapping turtle movie, right?
Probably.
Probably.
What's
I
Lake
wouldn't doubt it.
Placid with
Chomper?
Betty White? Basically.
Lake Placid was an alligator, wasn't
It
it?
was an alligator, but you could have made a snapping turtle in the same premise.
Only in Florida you have like a line of traffic because somebody stopped to like move a turtle off the
Pick up a
road.
turtle, yeah.
We had a snapping turtle in my area, Catherine, right by your old house. It was a honker. It was going from a creek to the big lake.
Dang.
Everyone's
Was it
moving
climbing
out.
up that big old hill?
It was going down that street.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't live
in in that nostalgia for the 10, as I said earlier, I watched Jaws 4 a lot. I've seen Jaws 2 and 3, less of them. 4 was on TV all the time. So these films have been in my life for a long time. My production value, 8.5. I knocked 1.5 points off of this movie, and not for the things that you may think. Of course, the shark didn't work, so they had to salvage what they had to make the movie, and they did a great job at that. The three main characters are putting on an acting class, a master class of acting and delivery. All of it. Would never argue that one bit. What I will argue is all of the supporting cast, or a majority of the supporting cast around them, are awful. They are either not actors, or they're not doing a great job, or they didn't get a second
Very
take.
one-dimensional.
very one-dimensional or just bad deliveries. Even Lorraine Gray, the mother, she when Brody's sitting there watching, reading through he's reading through the shark book, and she like comes
She's
up
like,
to
want
like
to get drunk and fool around.
well, but he's not paying attention. She like nuzzles up to them, She nuzzles up to him, and he turns around, and she's like, oh my God, you scared me. And I'm like, what was that? Like, huh? I don't know. It just sat wrong with me.
I don't even remember that. That's funny.
It was just after, I think it was just after he went and did the autopsy. And he was looking through his shark book.
I thought. Not him.
Well, she scared
her.
him, and then exactly. So there's that too. Yeah. She scared him, but then she jumped and said, "Oh, you startled me," and like had this really crap delivery, and it was just like ugh. But all the like 80-yard, everybody is 80-yard, or they're just not good actors. And if you had asked me to rate this movie years ago, I probably wouldn't have taken points off for that. As I've watched this movie time and time again, I start chopping points off every time I see them. Like the guy, when they're all heading out to go try to find Jaws, the fishermen, one of the guys is just, when his delivery, it's just so flat and boring. And I mean, we're not supposed to care about these. I mean, we're supposed to care about the town, but we're not supposed to care about these people, I guess. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for me.
It was a great intro for Quint's character, though, with the chalk board scratching.
Yes.
That would have been a good scene breakdown. Yes, I did like that.
And so like all of the production value obviously is in the camera work, and for my score is all of those things that, you know, Steven Spielberg brought from older generation stuff from Alfred Hitchcock into the new generations, to then ultimately, like when I went to film school, they were like, here's stuff that, you know,
we're going to be doing.
This is stuff we're going to be doing. Yeah, look. And they literally showed us the scene from Jaws, and they were like, look, this infamous iconic shot called the trombone shot, or a dolly zoom. And you're like, oh, okay. And then they were like, here it is in Vertigo from where it came. And you're like, oh, okay. So, Spirit and Intent is a 9. This movie builds the anticipation and the suspense and those moments of joy and happiness and all of that, and it delivers when it's supposed to deliver in every scene. You know, we don't see the movie. We don't see the shark until like an hour into the movie. I think it's like almost at the 1 hour mark. Yeah. And then we don't see him again for another 20 minutes. So like we're waiting to see that again, and it just builds and builds. This is one of, or could be argued as one of the best monster movies of all time, depending on, I know my girlfriend and I had a conversation about this. Her response was not that. It was probably a lower than Cam's score.
Wow.
I was like, okay,
go girl.
Wow.
Haters unite.
And yeah, like this, we said, this spawned a whole lot of other shark things, whether that's the Megalodon with Jason Statham or Shark Week or whatever. Like this was the
original Megalodon with
I couldn't find that movie. You need to figure out where that was from. Because I was trying to look it up.
Home video.
Discovery.
Monarch. Is this a Godzilla movie?
Starring Leanne Littrell, Robin Sachs, Al Sapinez, Mark A. Shepard. I don't know.
You Janus?
Okay. It's one of my brothers. Like, this is what really scared him, was megalodons, because we have megalodon teeth at my parents' house. So it always scared him.
That's cool. How big are they?
Big. Like
in comparison to your hand?
I think it's almost two Bruces. I don't know.
2 Bruces.
Someone fact check. I'll fact check. But continue.
Seriously?
All right. So, all right. You fact check. I'll give my rewatchability score. Rewatchability for this movie is a 10. Yep. I've rewatched it and rewatched it and rewatched it. We'll continue to rewatch it. I actually want to go back and watch 2 and 3 now, since it's been a while. I've seen 4 enough that I know that movie almost inside and out.
So I need to fill in that middle gap here, but this one...
I have curiosity for the other films. I kind of want to, I don't know.
Watch them. I think just put them on for the laughs. Like, put them on for
the dark side.
Ridiculousness.
Feel the hate. Let it come in.
50 to 65 feet on the Megalodon. So 2...
Damn, that's huge.
Yeah, they're...
Like just a tooth?
Oh,
not the tooth.
Okay, I was like, the tooth?
No. The size. They're about double the size. Like the tooth to tip to tail, about double.
Okay, I was asking how big the tooth was.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
why I was
they're like... Yeah.
Okay. I was like, the size of your hand?
Like, Great White's probably like this, and then Megalodon's like that. So, like, about...
Okay.
1.7x.
All right, and my overall thoughts are 9 for this. Like I said, I was saying earlier, this movie runs you through the range of emotions, from scared and nervous to what's going to happen to
really
the joy.
tension.
Yeah, to the joy of smile, you son of a bitch.
Smile, you son of a...
And blowing the shark out of the water, and elation. Even when they start chasing, when they hit him with the barrels and he starts pulling barrels off and the music swells, and it's
I
like,
was just going to say that. And it's like,
it's this chase
It's just
movie
like in
that
Godzilla Minus One.
It's just like in Godzilla Minus One. You're running you through this range of emotions here.
Did I feel a little Indiana Jones's? Like I know, like, John Williams is the music behind all of it, but like sometimes a little bit of his riffs, if you will, feels somewhat like the other.
He likes to repeat the riffs, like it repeats in thirds in his scores.
It does.
Indiana Jones was on that John Williams watch list, by the way.
Nice.
Like, I mean, even if you go watch later movies, if you watch earlier scores or listen to earlier scores of his into later, like, all composers do this. We borrow. I mean, we got 2 graphic artists on our panel here, and I'm sure they've used elements. I do After Effects and video editing, and I've used techniques that I've used in other stuff. Like, what was that?
Babe is new.
I'm sorry.
Just
it's a little
steal ideas.
But you're not stealing ideas. You're incorporating them.
Sorry,
incorporating borrow. You borrow a
Parody.
piece here and you borrow a piece there to make something new, and that's what
until I get paid.
Composers do.
Then I don't borrow it anymore.
Right.
I borrow something else.
Like corn.
So this is a point I wanted to make, is that as silly as Bruce looked, as silly as the mechanical shark looked, it was still a practical shark. We still see a man sliding in, being chomped to death by a thing, which, as fun as a Megalodon and Deep Blue Sea, I didn't bring up Deep Blue Sea during this. Like, it's all digital, so it's still fun and it's still exciting. But when you can physically touch the thing, it's a different beast altogether. So that is a 46.5 out of 50, a 93%. I have a movie poster that an Instagram artist designed on my wall over there, which just says Jaws on the waterline. I'll try to incorporate a picture here, but it's a gorgeous picture. So I have that framed.
Is it one of your movie posters that you've gotten? Like the fancy ones? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, Future Nick.
Nice. We'll just do all react like, ooh, that's cool.
Wow.
I didn't know you could do that.
There you go, Nick.
All right, Steven, you want to give us your scores for someone who's never seen this movie?
Never seen it, but, monster movies are my jam. And so I hadn't seen it, but, you can't escape Jaws. Everybody knows Jaws, what the movie's about, a lot of the essential scenes. You've experienced a lot of Jaws, yeah. So nostalgia finally getting to watch it, I think this is the perfect time for a first watching for me. I gave it an 8 out of 10 on nostalgia, even though I hadn't seen it. I have to give it points because it's just so incredible, just what it's been in Hollywood, in society, and I've monster movie like formula is my, like, if you hit monster movie formula, you're gonna get marks from me. I love that. Production value, I'm heavily leaning into filming, music and score, camera work, practical effects. It's a 10, baby. I'm giving it a 10. I don't even care. You can try to dock points, but first time watching it, those little nitpick things, get out of here. No one cares. Those are great. I love them. I like when do you know what? It helps me in treating my face blindness. When the people can't act, I know they're not relevant, so I just ignore them. Like,
well, that's what ends up happening when I've watched the movie over the years. I've just kind of tuned out those scenes and only watched the scenes that matter or that are important. Yeah. And then so now I'm having to go back to analyze all these. I'm going, oh, look at, oh, that delivery's awful. That delivery's awful. What's happening here?
No, I was just laying back.
I was fresh
overall
eyes, baby.
5, looking a little better these days. I don't know. You guys are talking yourself into that corner. Doors open.
Like, I was locked in on this movie. I was having a great time. Spirit and emotional value, it's a 9. Like, I think you can't really knock too much off of it. I think the only reason that I'm knocking points is, like, yeah, it gets a little bit away from the book. I'm not, like, the book fan by any means, but, like, when we're talking about what you're trying to do, like, cinemaing a book is always hard. So maybe there's some things they could have done differently.
They simplified, I think, the story from, obviously.
Yeah,
I don't think it was, like, as tight of a story focused. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to go back to the Academy Awards that it won. What were those, by the way?
Adaptation, right? Didn't it win it for
did
best?
Not. No.
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 What did it get?
That wasn't one of them.
Oh, okay.
It was nominated for Best Picture, but it won for Best Sound, Editing, and Music.
Yep.
Yeah, that's totally the whole picture there.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So 9 on the spirit and emotional value, because, like, I think maybe they could have monster movied it more or made it more of a critique of local government. I think that would have been cool too.
It was nominated for Best Screenplay at Golden Globes.
Yeah.
You're just a hater.
Thanks for getting invited to the party. Anyways, we want to talk to the people that actually won. I mean, it was supposed to be this big blockbuster, but yeah.
I mean, like, it wasn't the best award. It wasn't the Saturn, so I'm sorry.
No, but, like,
they didn't bribe the people enough.
If it had won something like Best Picture or something like that, I think the things that we're talking about right now and how those people didn't deliver right, or like those nitpicky things, they wouldn't be there because it would have been that kind of a movie. I'm just saying.
Also, this was probably before they actually had to watch all the nominated films.
There's some objective points here to get to that 5.
It was. That was just a new thing this past year.
Yep. You only had to watch the movies that you voted on. That's bullshit.
Crazy.
And whoever ripped me apart in the comments about accusing them of bribing. Eggs on your face.
Yeah. Holding on to that one for a while.
Oh, man. I knew it. It was all a sham to begin with. The awards. Anyway. Rewatchability, it's a 10, baby. This is going, I'm getting a physical edition, something like it's going to go right up next to my -1 copy. Like, ooh, I am excited about Jaws. I really like an American monster movie that is like up there with Tremors and like 2014 Godzilla. Like, this is incredible. I cannot believe it exists. That's awesome.
I'm sorry. I'm glad that Jaws has like put in its time to get on to the shelf that Tremors is on.
Yeah. I have the Blu-ray box set of all the Tremors films, first of all. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So overall, it's a
the
10.
Walking Tremors, the Flying Tremors, the Digging Tremors.
Right. It's a monster movie,
Tremors.
baby. It's great. It's all good. Overall, fantastic film. Now, for all of it, I'm only 0.1 or 0.5 points higher than Nick at a 47 out of 50. So that puts me at a 94%.
Okay.
Those kickbacks are worth it.
I ain't getting paid. They can pay me. There's 3 points to be bought. I'm the Academy Awards, baby. You just...
Anybody want to sponsor the podcast?
Right.
Cheers. All right, Steven, you want to hit us with some plugs?
Plug me, baby.
Man, if you're a hater and you just don't enjoy anything, you might like Cam over at Never Touching Grass.
We're talking all the shit.
Right, you know what?
Making it grow.
Like, you let him know how you feel about Jaws and Gremlins and all the great films, and he just goes a big Stevie, stinky, Never Touching Grass vibe, too. And check that out over on Twitch and other platforms. And then... We talked about Universal Studios and all things like that. If you like theme parks and whatnot, you might enjoy Katherine over at Spectacle Views, living her best Disney millennial life and everything up. And she's holding up some swag.
Pass holders.
She's
I got
passing.
Swag. It's the annual pass holders magnet.
Nice.
It's Jaws themed. Yeah.
You gotta move your
nice.
yeah.
Does it have
finger
a
off the
code on
page.
it?
Look for ass holders.
There we go.
I wasn't off on that.
You were not. Love it. Keep that in there. I got my ass holder magnet.
I mean, and like, that's why she's getting married.
Perfect cuppage thing.
Right.
He knows. He knows.
That's how you be supportive. Like, come on.
Exactly.
Right?
Just like you can support Nick over at Fire Hazard 508 Creations, making playthings into display things. Wonderful editing the man does. And you can see all of his neat tricks on fixing toys, transforming like 1 hour transforms, I believe.
They're illusions.
They're illusions. Movie magic.
Movie magic.
Check that out over at Fire Hazard 508 Creations. And you can also check out me. I might be playing the Jaws NES game now all of a sudden, because that's something that you can make happen by going to the channel and letting me know you want me to play Jaws over at Funky Games.
I'm going to go do that right now. I just want to see you struggle.
I will sit there with you while you play it. 100%.
I'll talk shit in the comments.
And if you
for
absolutely
sure.
love Jaws and you want to know a little more about it with the 50th anniversary, we have a video coming from at Universal Studios with some Jaws merch and decoration and food. So, like, check out Spectacle Views.
So you do get kickbacks, is what I'm hearing.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Make sure you check us out on...
If you want to be a sponsor of Universal.
If you're like, how can I talk about Jaws more? Right here.
Right? All right, make sure you check us out on Apple Podcast and Spotify. All of our episodes are going up. We're playing catch up to get up to current day, but they will all be up there sooner than later.
Eventually.
Eventually. So join us.
With the magic of editing.
Yes. All right. Well, let's get out of here and go fishing or something.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
Gonna need a bigger boat for sure.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah,
oh, yes,
do all the great things.
Too. Thank you, Katherine. All right. Check you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.